In the past 30 plus days, Bitcoin dropped below its 200-day simple moving average, which caused the market sentiment to go into fear. But now it has since popped back above it. But will previous support flip into resistance, or will Bitcoin blast above 61,280 and regain its bullish momentum? I'm going to be doing a multi-time frame analysis on Bitcoin, starting with the larger monthly time frame to get a sense of the overall big picture, and then go down into the weekly and to the nitty-gritty on the daily to get a more precise idea of what the price can do in the next few days. Here's Bitcoin on the monthly time frame, and it's obviously bullish because it's above its all-time high. And it's also above its 8-month exponential moving average. During a bear market, price tends to stay below it, and during a bull market, price tends to stay above this moving average, which is a dynamic support and resistance line. Also, if you take a look at just price action alone, it does look like a bull flag. So as forces of demand really push the price up, forces of supply finally took over and caused price to move in an equilibrium for the last few months. But should price break above this, we can see that it's going to be insane. So here's the forces of demand pushing it up. It takes a break, and should we break above it, we can have a price target of, oh my gosh, it's going above my screen right now. It's above 100K. I don't know why my computer's so laggy. It's above, the price target is above 100K. That's pretty wild. The on-balance volume broke above its inverse head and shoulders and popped above its 21 simple moving average, which is awesome. But one thing that does have me concerned is that if you bring out my support and resistance lines, we can see that it's not above its previous peak. So right now, this does appear to be a bearish divergence where price is making higher highs, the ceilings are rising higher, but the on-balance volume indicator is making lower highs, which is a bearish divergence. The popular MACD indicator shows that the trend has slowed down. Even though the histogram is contracting back down, it doesn't necessarily mean we've hit a top. Until the histograms actually flip negative and they do a bear cross, we're not quite in a bear market just yet. On the monthly time frame, this just shows that the trend is slowing down. On the monthly chart, my directional bias is that the trend is up. Here's the weekly chart for Bitcoin to determine the momentum within the larger trend. We already established that the monthly trend is bullish, but now let's take a look at the momentum within it, the wave within the freaking ocean. So we can see that, unfortunately, we are in a downtrend where the ceilings are going lower and the floors are going lower as well. But if this reverses from here, this is going to look really good. My bias is that the charts are simply human emotions manifested into reality. Reality being that Bitcoin is at $61,000 right now, and there's no arguing with that. That's reality. So my way of looking at charts is I try to look at the psychology behind the price moves. And this looks like a very perfect 1-to-1 ratio, which in L8 wave theory, this would be a ABC corrective wave. So, and that would mean that we're just in this brief pullback here, and if human beings feel that this move is complete and it's perfectly balanced and harmonious, then bam, we can start reversing and make our way to all-time highs and beyond. The on-balance volume doesn't look that great right now because it's below its 21 simple moving average. Also, it does look like it was in a head and shoulders reversal pattern. Here are my support and resistance lines, and it shows that it did dip below, which may have been a false breakdown. It looks like the on-balance volume has popped above the neckline. You really want to see price regain the $70,000 level and on-balance volume also regain this resistance line to confirm a bullish reversal and obliterate this negative head and shoulders reversal pattern. The stochastic RSI is a popular momentum indicator. The indicator is showing a little bullish cross right here, but it really does need to get above this resistance line on the oscillator at 20. And I do like how the floors of the indicator are relatively even. While the floors and the price have been falling lower, this would be a bullish divergence, although a weak one, but a divergence nonetheless. The weekly chart is showing signs of a potential reversal based on the indicators I'm using, but the price action shows that the momentum is clearly negative. Although, the weekly candle just formed as I'm recording this video, and we can see that the forces of demand really push the price up, really taking potentially about 80% of this negative weekly move that happened last week. So we really need price this week to hopefully get above the $64,000 level, to get above this wick to really confirm a potential reversal in momentum. Here we are on the daily chart, the nitty gritty, and Bitcoin has been a hot mess recently. In the last, what is this, 130 plus, am I right? Is that 130 plus? Wait, hold on, let me just measure this out. In the past 120 something plus days. Okay, that's a lot of days. Not much has been going on with Bitcoin, but we may be in for some crazy price action soon. So let's revisit what we just went over. So let me bring up my legend here, my triple screen cheat sheet right here. It's my computer's a bit laggy. So on the monthly chart, the overall trend was up, and on the weekly chart, the overall momentum was down. So we should be looking for a long entry on the daily chart. So let's see what we can do here. Get rid of that legend for a second. Let's see. So Bitcoin is above my computer. Okay, here we go. 200-day simple moving average. Not such a hot mess right now when we bring in this very widely used indicator to determine whether a market is in a bull market or a bear market. It dipped below it briefly and it popped above it. The only problem we have right now is this resistance line, where previous support may be flipping into resistance. In the next few days, you really want to see Bitcoin pop above this. If it starts to turn over, it's going to look pretty bad. But we should technically, based on the triple screen trading system, we should be looking for a bullish entry because the overall monthly trend is up while the momentum is down. So this would be the ideal place to do a nice leveraged entry for a long position. The on-balance volume is not looking great. It's below its 21 simple moving average, and it has fallen below my last point of support right here. The bearish price action is confirmed with the bearish on-balance volume. The popular RSI indicator shows that it is not overbought or oversold. We're actually right in the middle, and coincidentally, the RSI is above this bullish control zone. So this may be a signal to go long now that the RSI is in the bullish control zone. And the last thing I want to go over are market cycles. In a video I released over a year ago, I went over the possibility that we may be in a left translated cycle where Bitcoin may go only 1 to 2 years up and then 2 to 3 years down, compared to previous cycles where we've gone 3 years up and 1 year down, the typical 4-year cycle. And the reason why I thought it was different because it had something to do with inflation and the Fed interest rates. This is the S&P 500 weekly chart, and when the Fed interest rates start to pivot, right now we're at about 5%, and it's been flatlined for a while. But as you can see, when it drops down and the Fed pivots, the stock market does go down for 2 years. It's happened in 2001 and 2007 when they had another Fed pivot, it went down for 2 years. So Fed Chair Powell says there may not be a Fed pivot until maybe Q4 at the earliest or 2025. So if Bitcoin does have a positive correlation with the S&P 500 and it moves in sync with it, that would put Bitcoin at the 2-year mark if the Fed pivots in Q4 2024. So we're still on the path for a left translated cycle. We're already beyond the 1-year mark, but so that does give us several months for a really crazy parabolic move up to over 100K within the next few months. The 4-year cycle count has been consistent on the larger time frame, but on the daily time frame, it has a very interesting cycle count that I'm actually pretty tired right now. I don't feel like going over this stuff. Subscribe to my channel if you want me to go over some nitty-gritty daily cycle counts that are very interesting. There's another indicator I use that is very powerful that really nails these cycles spot on, and I'm going to do an in-depth video on it. And it's absolutely surprising. No one's been talking about it.